Here are some of the highlights from the various tremendous auctions held by Stack's Bowers during August of 2023. We'll start off with an unusual piece stemming from before Florida was officially a part of the United States. It was a Spanish colonial territory. This silver medal was issued in 1789 under that authority in order to celebrate the ascension of Charles IV to the throne of Spain. In the same year that George Washington became the first president of the United States. One of just two pre-federal numismatic issues associated with what is the modern-day state of Florida, and just one of two known Spanish proclamation medals issued on American soil. Of this type, 5 are known to have survived in silver. This is graded as PCGS AU53 and sold at auction for $63,000. The 1969 S double die obverse cent is a coin that is familiar to every penny and variety collector alike. It is one of the best examples of rotated hub doubling, behind only the famous 1955 and 1972 varieties of a similar nature. This is a newly discovered example found in an unsearched roll of uncirculated coins, making its public debut at this auction. Graded as MS63 red by PCGS, it sold for a worthy $72,000. And speaking of variety coins, one of the best known varieties from the nickel series is the 1937 D three-legged buffalo coin, created by accident when a mint employee was trying to remove clash marks from a working die and inadvertently removed the entire front leg as well. This is one of the finest known examples of this popular variety at a grade of PCGS MS66+. There are only 2 coins finer at NGC MS67 known to exist. This supreme example was sold at auction for $84,000. Commemorating one of the most pivotal battles in the history of North America, the 1759 Quebec Taken Medal celebrates the British victory over the French forces in the Battle of Quebec, or the Battle of the Plains of Abraham, as it's also known. It was the deciding battle in the 7 Years' War over what was then New France, or what would eventually become modern-day Canada. Only 4 examples of this medal are known to exist in gold. This specimen was graded by PCGS as MS64, and at auction it raised $96,000. Then we have an example of one of the earliest coins in the American numismatic catalog, a 1652 New England shilling, minted by and for use in the Massachusetts Bay colonies. The design was simple, in NE for New England on one side and the Roman numerals 12 on the other, indicating the value of 12 pennies or 1 shilling. This is the Windsor example of the No. 2A variety, with an established provenance dating back to the 1895 Henry Chapman sale of the Windsor collection. Today graded by PCGS as AU53, it sold at auction for $174,000. The initial idea behind the creation of a $4 gold coin, or stellas as they are more commonly known, is a fairly simple one. Create an American gold coin that could be used easily in international trade, especially European trade with the nations of the Latin Monetary Union. The $4 denomination would more closely be exchangeable with Austria's 8 florin, France's 20 francs, Italy's 20 lira, and the Spanish 20% Setas coin as well. Somewhere between 400 and maybe 700 examples of this flowing hair 1879 coin were produced for distribution to congressmen, for their approval. And then later some were also sold to collectors as well. This example was graded as NGC Proof 67 Star Cameo and sold at auction for $312,000. The 1819 capped head half eagle is an extremely rare coin, with a popular and very noticeable variety, found in the 5D over 0 or $5 over 50 variety. The exact number of surviving coins is not precisely clear, but as far back as the 1907 David Wilson sale, it was described as, and I quote, excessively rare, only 9 coins known to exist. Now, in more recent research, Saul Teichmann was able to identify 14 provenance chains, representing somewhere between 12 to possibly 15 individual coins, with the combined population report reflecting 16 grading events today. This coin graded as MS64 by PCGS and was sold at auction for $384,000. The 1830 Half Eagle is an interesting issue, one of the first full year of production runs to be minted with the new Rush-Muhlenberg coining press that the Philadelphia Mint took delivery of in 1829. This advancement in technology allowed for better strike quality, the raised rim further protected the design in circulation, and the more consistent strike quality allowed for the mint to strike 126,351 total mintage for this issue, with only 2 reverse dies and a single obverse die, as opposed to 1828 that had 4 die pairings for a total of 28,000 coins. The 2 die marriages can be distinguished fairly easily as the large and small D varieties. Though it isn't noted on the slab, this is an example of the large D type, of which fewer than 30 coins are seemingly known to exist today. The coin is tied for finest certified at PCGS and CAC with a grade of MS66, and at auction it changed hands for $420,000. There are many noteworthy entries within the pantheon of American numismatics, but primary amongst all of these will forever be the silver half-diem of 1792, the very first coins in the official federal series issued for general circulation by the newly established U.S. Mint. Only 1,500 coins were initially minted, by special arrangement to Thomas Jefferson, then still Secretary of State, although we now believe that a second and quite possibly even a third striking of these coins took place later on in 1792 as well. Today, though, fewer than 300 coins are known to have survived, most in fairly worn conditions. This is an unusually high-grade example, slabbed as PCGS MS64. When crossing the auction block, it raised $465,000 on final call. For a long time, the 1815 capped-head eagle was thought to be the rarest half-eagle on the market, even more so than the fabled 1822. And with a mintage of only 635 coins, it's not too hard to understand why. But this is a perfect example of why mintage figures, when taken in isolation, don't always tell the full story. Now, don't get me wrong, the 1815 half-eagle is absolutely one of the rarest half-eagles known, with fewer than a dozen coins confirmed. By comparison, the 1822 only has 3 known surviving examples, though, despite having an official mintage figure of almost 18,000 coins by contrast. This example is the second finest known Garrett specimen and is graded as MS64 by PCGS. It managed to attain a closing price at auction of $720,000. The 1870 Carson City Gold Eagle is the first coin of its type to be minted at Carson City, and as such holds special appeal to most collectors. The relatively small mintage of 5,908 coins, the even smaller survival rate of roughly 60 to 75 coins, and add to that the fact that most Carson City coins were heavily circulated, all contribute to the coin's rarity and rather substantial price tag today, on par only with the 1879 Carson City coin, I would say. This is a new discovery as it was held in a single family collection for over 100 years, and today stands as the finest known example of the issue. With a grade of AU 58 from PCGS, it sold at auction for its first time ever for $1,000,000 $80,000. Subscribe to WNN and I'll see you in the next video. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.